Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today we're going to be doing a Time Thief deck profile. So I'm really excited for this one, guys, because you guys have been requesting the deck profile for this one for a little while, because I actually played this one on stream over at the StaringAtGames channel, when we do all our play testing for all the different decks and play against a bunch of people. If you guys are not subscribed to the StaringAtGames channel, you should definitely do that. It is down in the description as well. We do a lot of gaming content and stuff over there, and it's really fun to see you guys actually come duel against me over when we do Yu-Gi-Oh streams. But this is actually the deck that I played on stream, and you guys have been requesting for me to show it off, and I'm really excited to bring this one to you guys because this deck is actually crazy. So without further ado, guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell next to become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below, because we have all those awesome rewards you guys, like getting your name description every single video, getting a signed card to the mail, or even getting to request a deck profile every single month to your patron, along with test hands. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Time Thief Winder. Time Thief Winder is really good in this deck because what it does is you can detach a material from an XZ monster you control, special summon this card from your hand, and if this card is normal or special summon, you get to add a Time Thief card from your deck to your hand, except another copy of itself, and you can only use each of the following effects of this card once per turn, or each of the effects of this card once per turn. It's really good just to be able to get you a search and get you a free special summon by detaching material from a card, because then you can use your XZ monster as a link material for different plays. So this card's really, really good. We then play 3 copies of Time Thief Regulator, and this is probably the best card in the entire deck, because if you control no monsters, you can tribute this card to special summon 2 Time Thief monsters with different names from your deck in defense position, except another copy of itself. And when an XZ monster you control is destroyed by battle while this card's in the grave, you can special summon this card but banish it when it leaves the field, which is really, really good. Just to be able to get, like, this card has literally no drawbacks to be able to get you a free XZ monster on your side of the field. It gets you a monster back on your side of the field if an XZ monster is destroyed, and it's just an overall really, really good card. I always want to open this card. We then play a single copy of Bezel Ship. Bezel Ship is really good because you can quick effect tribute this card to target a Time Thief XZ you control and attach 1 card from your opponent's graveyard to that monster, and if this card is in the graveyard, you can detach 1 material from an XZ monster you control to special summon this card but banish when it leaves the field, which is a really good effect just to be able to get you an additional monster on your side of the field. 1 copy of Chronocoder. Chronocoder is kind of neat because during your opponent's battle phase, the quick effect, you contribute this card, and the next battle damage you take from an opponent's monster attacking this turn is inflicted to your opponent instead, which is kind of neat if your opponent's life points are really low and you know that you can kind of push them with this card. It's really good. And if a face-up XZ monster you control leaves the field by a card effect while this card's in the grave, you can special summon this card but banish it when it leaves the field, which is an overall really insanely good effect. I played 2 copies of Dyna. Dyna is really good because basically what this card does is you can special summon it from your hand, and if it's the first turn, they don't get any other effects off this card. But if you don't special summon in the first turn, you can only special summon this card 1 time per turn. And it also has the ability that when this card is summoned, your opponent can target 1 level 4 monster in either player's graveyard and special summon that target to their side of the field. Dynatherium is really good because basically if you go first, it's a free special summon. It's almost like Jester Confit for a lot of other decks, but it's a level 4 monster, so it's really important to be able to have a lot of level 4 monsters inside of the field, because it's basically a rank 4 deck that you're trying to get a bunch of monsters on the field as quickly as possible. We then play 2 copies of Perform Pal or Perform Age Hat Trigger, or Hat Trigger. Hat Trigger is really good because basically what this card does is if you control 2 monsters, you can instantly special summon this card from your hand, which is really, really good in this deck to be able to just get you another level 4 monster on your side of the field. We then play 3 copies of Parallel XZs because you do XZ summon pretty quickly in the deck, and depending on the situation, this card can get you 2 level 4 monsters on your side of the field with the greatest of ease, because it has the ability that if you do have a link summon a monster, you can special summon this card to a zone that link monster points to, and then special summon an additional Parallel XZs from the deck, and both of them become level 4, which is a really good effect to get on your side of the field, because if you link summon, you can special summon this card to your zone a link monster points to, and if this card is normal or special summon, you can special summon additional Parallel XZs from the deck, and if this card is special summoned by the effect of a Parallel XZs, it becomes a level 4, which if it's special summoned by its own effect, it becomes level 4, and then the second one that comes out is level 4 as well, so you can make it really, really easy to get you out of Redoer or any other play as an extender. We then play a single copy of Rocket Tracer. Rocket Tracer is really good because it gets you an additional monster on your side of the field, and quick launch is a thing. 1 copy of Rocket Recharger, and this card is really good outside of just being a level 4 monster in this deck, because it has the ability that if a dark monster you control that was special summoned from the extra deck is destroyed by battle or by card effect, you can send this card from your hand or field to the grave, and then target one of the destroyed monsters and special summon a dark monster from your graveyard with a different original name from the targeted monster. You can only see the effect of this card once per turn, and then while you control a dark monster, special summon from the extra deck, your opponent cannot target this card with attacks, which is a really good effect. Play a single copy of Zaphros the Elite. Zaphros the Elite is really good to special summon out for your copy of Wise Strix from the extra deck, so it's an insanely good card just to get you an additional play, to be able to bounce something back and get you another level 4 on your side of the field if it's sent to the graveyard, and it's just overall to summon to the field with Wise Strix effect. It's ridiculous. We then play a single copy of Singing Lanius, because if you control an XZ monster, you can special summon this card to your side of the field, which is really good. One copy of Strangulanius. This card is insane as a 1-up, because if you control a dark monster, you can special summon this card from your hand, but it does have a little bit of a downside because you can't special summon anything else but dark for the rest of the turn. And if you control an XZ monster with a dark XZ monster as a material, you can special summon one level 4 or lower Raid Raptor monster from the graveyard, which is pretty good just to be able to get you an additional Raid Raptor from the graveyard to your side of the field. It's a really good effect because it's just going to get you another rank 4 on your side of the field. One copy of Raider's Wing, which counts as a Phantom Knight and a Raid Raptor monster. It has the ability, if this card's in your hand or graveyard, you can detach your material from a dark XZ monster you control and special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. And your opponent cannot target the XZ monster with card effects that uses this card as a material, which is an insanely good effect. Play a single copy of Ancient Cloak and a single copy of Silent Boots, because Rusty Bardige is really good in this deck just to be able to get you additional plays, and getting you 2 copies of a Fog Blade on your side of the field, or searching your copy of Shade to your side of the field is really good too. And then we play 3 copies of Ash Blossom just to round out the monster count, because Ash Blossom is really good in this deck to be able to stop your opponent with all sorts of plays. So that's it for the monsters, guys. I know it's a lot of monsters, and you're basically playing all these monsters because you're trying to go for rank 4 plays in this particular deck, and everything else is kind of backup plays. So we're going to be playing a single copy of Rank Up Magic Soul Shave Force. Soul Shave Force is really good because basically what this card is here for is it helps you rank up a copy of one of your Raid Raptor XZ's monsters that's in the graveyard into a copy of Cyber Dragon Infinity, which is really cool because you pay half your life, target one Raid Raptor XZ monster in your graveyard, special summon it, and then special summon from your extra deck one XZ monster that's 2 ranks higher than that monster, and by using it as a material, XZ material, and you can only use this card effect, or you can this special summon is treated as an XZ summon, which is really good. It doesn't say anything about attribute, so you can basically do it this way, where if you have a copy of your 4 Strix in the graveyard, you can then use its effect to be able to XZ summon with the Rank Up Magic Soul Shave Force into a copy of Infinity, which is really, really good just to give you an additional negation. This deck can actually establish like 5 negates on one play, which is really insane because you get 2 Fog Blades in Infinity, you get a Redoer with a bounce, and you get another card on the field, which is really, really cool to be able to just give you a lot of negates. If you have a hand trap, it goes to 5 to 6 negates, which is really insane. One copy of the Phantom Knights Rank Up Magic Force. This card is just helpful to get you into additional plays, like using your copy of Redoer to go into a copy of Arc Rebellion, which is really cool to be able to get you those additional plays off in this particular deck. One copy of Time Thief Startup. Time Thief Startup lets you special summon a Time Thief monster from your hand, and then during your main phase, you can banish this card from the graveyard, then target one Time Thief XZ and attach 3 Time Thief cards with different types, 1 monster, spell, and trap from your graveyard to that monster as a material, which basically gives it all the effects on Redoer, which is really good. One copy of Call by the Grave, because Call by the Grave negates hand traps, which is really nice. And then finally 3 copies of Quick Launch, because Quick Launch gives you an additional level 4 on your side of the field for free, and it's not once per turn. So if you draw into 2 copies of Quick Launch, you're essentially going to get a free XZ play right off the bat and thin your deck even thinner. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, I'm playing a single copy of Time Thief Flyback. Flyback is neat because it lets you target a Time Thief monster you control, and you get to attach a Time Thief card from your hand or deck to that card as a material. And you can manage this card from your graveyard, and then you get to target a Time Thief XZ monster you control and attach 1 card from your opponent's graveyard to that card as material, which can help you out a lot because if your opponent's trying to get a card out of the grave, you can just banish this and be able to attach that card as a material, which is really nice. And if you know there's a combo play, like if you're playing against Eldridge, you can grab the Golden Lord out of the graveyard and attach it to your monster as a material, which is super nice. Or you can grab a trap out of the graveyard to give you an additional additional bounce, which is really nice, and it's just an overall really good card to be able to play in this deck as a 1-up. We then play 3 copies of Shade Brigade. Shade Brigade is really good because it gives you an additional level 4 on your side of the field. If you don't have a trap in the graveyard, then you can activate this card the same turn it was set, which is a really good effect just to be able to get you another level 4 on your side of the field. 2 copies of Fogblade, because Fogblade is really good just to be able to negate monster effects, and it can revive your copies of your Phantom Knight monsters by banishing it, which is insanely good. And a copy of Time Thief Retrograde, because when a spell trap is activated while you control a Time Thief XZ monster, negate the activation to attach that card to a Time Thief XZ monster you control as material, so you get a spell which can get you a draw, or a trap which can get you a bounce, which is really good just to be able to get you an additional gate. And normally an end board is a Retrograde, 2 copies of Fogblade, a copy of at least 1 to 2 Redoers, or a Petra and a Redoer, and a copy of Shade Brigade is usually my end board. And a copy of a Hand Trap in my hand. So I end with at least a bounce, and then these 3 set, which is 3 negates, and a Hand Trap in hand, which is essentially a bounce, 3 negates, and a negate in hand, which is super nice. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to be playing double Time Thief Redoer. Redoer is ridiculous because it has the ability that once per turn during the standby phase, you can attach the top card of your opponent's deck to this card as material. And then quick effect, you can detach up to 3 different types of materials from this card, which is a monster, spell, or a trap, to get the following effects depending on which ones you did detach. So if you detach a monster, you can banish the card until the end phase. You banish a spell, or if you detach from a spell, you get to draw a card, or if you detach a trap, you place 1 face-up card your opponent controls on top of the deck, which doesn't target, by the way. It just immediately puts it on top of the deck, so it doesn't matter. You can put a Dragoons back on their deck, in their extra deck, with this card, which is really good. Like, this card is really good, and it just immediately gets that effect off. We then play a single copy of Petra. This card is really good because basically what she does is, during the standby phase, you can detach a material from her, and then you get to target a Time Thief monster in your graveyard, and you get to special summon that monster. And then quick effect, you can target 1 other XZ monster you control and attach a Time Thief card from your deck to that card as a material, which can get you one of the traps attached to your Redoer, which gets you a bounce, which is really nice. We then play a single copy of Evilsworn Nightmare because it's a Book of Moon, which is really nice too. Exciton Knight because it can blow board. 1 copy of Tornado Dragon because it can pop spells and traps. Raiders Knight because Raiders Knight helps you go in your copy of Arc Rebellion. Arc Rebellion because it helps you OTK. You might notice I'm not playing Utopia Double because the Arc Rebellion does what Utopia Double does, but better in this deck because it basically cold waves the field and it gains the attack of every single monster on the field. But you can only attack with this card, but it can do a lot of damage. And then we play a single copy of Infinity, which helps you get negations against your opponent, which is really nice. And you can end with the Infinity as well on your board as long as you don't use the Strangleanius, because you're going to get that search off. So you end with like a 2 Fogblades, a Retrograde, this, and a Redoer, and a Hand Trap. You can end with 6 negates, which is ridiculous. 1 copy, well, an Interruption, and then 5 negates, essentially, if you want to be factual. We then play a single copy of Double A Zeus because it can board wipe your opponent, which is really good in this deck. And in being an XZ deck, this card is ridiculous. 2 copies of Forstrix because it can just be able to get you a Dark XZ monster, or Dark level 4 monster from your deck to your hand, which can be Strangleanius, it can be Singing Lanius, it can be Zaphros the Elite, it can be anyone that you particularly need. Raider's Wing, any card that you need, this card's got you. 1 copy of Rusty Bardige because it gets you your copies of Fogblades on your side of the field, which is really good. And a copy of Wise Tricks because it's usually the first card out of the gate. Well, usually I go for my copy of Forstrix first, and then I go for Wise Tricks to get me an additional play to get my copy of Soulshade Force to set, which is, this card is ridiculously good to be able to get you more plays off. And then you play a single copy of Alamirage because the Alamirage just helps. Like, the Alamirage is just good. Like, you can normal summon a monster out and it can protect a card on your side of the field. It can send something from your field to the graveyard that was normal summon, like a Bezel ship, or it can just get you another playoff that you particularly need, like a copy of Parallel Xyz. Like, if you open up a copy of Parallel Xyz and a monster that you can normal summon that has less than 1,000 attack, you can normal summon it out to your side of the field, and then immediately use the Parallel Xyz to special summon to your side of the field to get the rank 4 that you need to start rolling. So basically, the Alamirage is just here for recovery. So that's it for this deck, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Definitely tell me what you think of this deck down in the comments down below. Like I said, this deck is insanely good. I might try and do some test hands of it if you guys really want to see some test hands of this deck, because it's really fun and it can establish some insane boards, like insanely good boards on your side of the field that you wouldn't think that this deck could actually do. Like, I'm surprised this deck isn't meta at all, but it's really, really insane. So anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell next so you can come part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.